guys, my name is Lilly and today I have some disturbing news for you. So the German government has sent out leaflets that look like these. It's a small handbook to raise awareness for preparedness in Germany, and the booklet has the title Planning Ahead for Crisis and Disasters. So now the Federal Office of Germany of Civil Protection and Disaster Assistance wants the German citizens to be prepared. What a turnaround. Can you believe it? You could not believe this a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago, prepping was depicted as being right-wing lunacy, and there was no reason to prep. Here, for example, there are some mainstream articles which told people not to prep because it's right-wing. Here they're saying, dangerous scene, guns in town. Preppers are people who stockpile supplies and weapons eagerly awaiting the day of reckoning. But then later, with the COVID pandemic and with other things happening like the war, there was a little bit of a shift from maybe prepping is not too bad, solidarity-based prepping. If there has to be an apocalypse, then let's do it together. When people hear about the word prepping, they immediately think of those eccentric individuals in bunkers. But nobody considers that food banks have been supporting people in crisis for decades. So suddenly prepping is not that evil anymore, okay? Then also here there's an article, Crisis Preparedness, Prepping Without Panic. With numerous armed conflicts, the global situation is considered tense. Add to that extreme weather events, cyber attacks and terrorist attacks. Does this mean society is taking more precaution against crisis? Prepping for a long time was considered suspicious, radical, or something only far-right conspiracy theorists do. Yet, at least some preppers are simply taking precautions. Food and drink for about 10 days, a power bank, camping stove, and those with a garden grow their own fruits and vegetables. Here there's another article by a left-wing website which is calling preppers an underestimated danger. So yeah, prepping was really bad in Germany, but apparently now it's not bad anymore. Instead, you should actually prep if you're a German citizen. Now, before we go into this, I first want to show you a couple of other articles. So this was in the news today, a German newspaper, and apparently they are searching for a lot of people in the arms industry. So there are a lot of jobs now that you can take up. And they are saying you will get a top job in the arms industry, and even if you're not from this section of the job, you can still get 100,000 euro a year. Also, funnily, at the same time, the Federal Ministry is preparing for a state of defense. The Homeland Security Division during a large-scale exercise in the event of an attack. We must be ready. The threat from Russia is also growing in Germany. However, in the event of an attack, a weapons system cannot be ready overnight. The Ministry of Defense now intends to make adjustments in this area. Also now we have a new banking law which is just coming in time. So with the new banking law, anybody that lives inside of the European Union is not allowed to have a bank account outside at some foreign country which is not having a bank inside the European Union. So if you want to open up a bank account in, USA, it's not possible even if you have a second passport. If you want to open up a bank account, in Singapore, it's also not possible because they have made agreements with foreign banks that they cannot serve EU citizens if they live in the European Union. This is brutal. The European Union is forcing banks outside of the EU to stop providing core banking services to EU residents, unless those banks set up a licensed branch inside of the EU. What matters is the residence, not your passport. Alright, so now before we take a look at this booklet, I first want to tell you something else which I've been researching. So I just found something out about stem cells, and they are like tiny repair crews in your body and go and fix things that have to be fixed. And Joe Rogan was actually talking about this topic a couple of years ago.
I had a full-length rotator cuff tear, and the UFC gave me a doctor in Los Angeles, and he looks at my MRI and goes, "You're going to need surgery." I go, 100%? He goes, "I don't know how you're using it now. It's a matter of time. You're going to need surgery, so it might be better to do it now." So I got it shot up with stem cells. And this was the early days of stem cells in America where you could get away with more. That you got to go to Mexico now.
So stem cells might be helping with injuries, and most stem cell therapies are illegal in the US. Probably not because they are unsafe, and probably not because they don't work. They are working, but because they work too well, and Big Pharma doesn't like that. The FDA has blocked these treatments, and they are forcing people to go overseas, and doing that is very expensive. So very rich people can do that, and they spend like $50,000 US for one placenta stem cell injection. Who can afford that? I cannot. Maybe Joe Rogan can. But there's a big but. There's actually a natural way how you can support your own stem cell activity. And it comes from something very simple: high flavonol cacao. Here it's saying that studies have shown that flavonols in cacao actually stimulate your stem cells to come out of your bone marrow. Also, Harvard scientist Dr. William Lee actually backs this up.
So, studies have been done to show that the flavonols in cocoa stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow like bees in a beehive in your bloodstream, and they go out and they find wherever it needs to be repaired. If it's in your heart, they'll fix it. If it's in your liver, they'll fix it. If it's in your skin, they'll fix it. And so we can eat foods like high flavanol cocoa in order to be able to actually get the stem cells to work a little bit better. Now, how do we know this actually functions, works in people? Well, clinical studies have been done with high flavanol cocoa to show that in like men who are in their 60s with heart disease, they could actually just have 2 cups of dark chocolate hot cocoa a day for a month.
Yeah. And
they doubled the amount of stem cells in their bloodstream, and their circulation improved measurably. And then what's even more important and impressive is that there was a study called the Cosmos study that was completed recently that showed that eating high flavanol cocoa decreases the risk of cardiovascular death.
Yeah.
Right, over a period
like
of
a statin.
Like a statin, right. Exactly. Except made with by eating the same thing that you use to make chocolate.
That's
so we're not telling people to go out to have chocolate, which is a confection, which has got a lot of sugar and all kinds of other stuff in it. Yeah. But it's the stuff underlying
underneath it,
the core of it.
Now, does it help if you're eating chocolate? Actually, that's not very effective. So the flavonols are the good stuff found in cacao beans, but they are usually destroyed during the chocolate making process. And that's where Black Forest supplements come in with the first ever high flavanol cacao powder, packed with everything your body actually needs. And it's only 20 calories. So some people mix this into their protein shake. I personally use it in my coffee, and I have to say it tastes amazing. And cacao, high flavanol cacao, is stem cell fuel. And now listen, every year Black Forest runs their biggest deal of the year for the 4th of July. They are patriots, and that's just who they are. And the promo is now gone, but actually they have said they will bring it back to my audience. So for the next 48 hours, buy 2, get 1 free across the entire store. Every product, including this cacao, plus a free bottle of cacao flavanols on every single order. That's half your order for free. Also, to make this work and to grab the offer, you have to use my personal affiliate link. And I have it down in the description and in the first pinned comment below. If you go to the website normally without my link, this offer will not work. It only works with my personal affiliate link. So you only have 48 hours to grab this deal from the second that this video is published. So if you're interested in grabbing this deal, make sure you do it in the first 48 hours, because afterwards the deal is gone and the prices will be set to normal again. Alright, so now let's take a look into this leaflet and let's see what's inside. This is the official German version, but the Federal Office of Civil Protection and Disaster Assistance also has a link to the English version. And I'm going to put the link into the description as well. So, Planning ahead for disasters. Here they are saying preparation pays off. Germany is one of the safest countries in the world. Nevertheless, we are also experiencing crises in Germany that are disrupting our usual daily routines. Extreme weather, cyber attacks, disinformation and sabotage are being used to attack infrastructure, opinion formation and social cohesion. Wow, prepping pays off. And here you can see instead of prepping, they are using preparation because they don't want to use the same word as prepping. How preparation helps you in a extreme situation. You know what to do, you know how to take care of yourself, and most importantly, this is the goal of the whole thing here, you can relieve the burden on the emergency services. So the German government doesn't want to take care of you. They want you to take care of yourself because they are busy fighting a future war. You should have 10 days of supplies at home. When everyday life is interrupted, for example, medical treatment or orders and delivery, then here they are saying payment, transaction might not work, internet might not work. In the house, everything is not working anymore, from heating, light, refrigeration, cooking, drinking and washing. You cannot watch the TV anymore. So what you should do is you should stock up on food and drink. So here they are saying this is how much water you should store for a small family. Planning for people with disabilities. Here they are saying how to understand the signals of the sirens. This app can be used to pass on official warnings. Staying informed during a crisis. So you should own a power bank. Where to help find information in a emergency situation, you should listen to a radio. Recognizing trustworthy information. In unclear situations, you may receive contradictory and incorrect information. There are also parties who deliberately spread misinformation. They want to influence your opinions. Dealing with fears and worries. So we actually have a guideline for psychological support. This is something a lot of people will need. They also tell you to help other people, elderly for example, talking to children about the crisis, how you can provide support and explain to children what is happening. Something like this is actually really disturbing. I think pretty soon something big will happen in Germany. How to treat medical emergencies yourself, because it might happen that the hospital cannot treat you. Having emergency bags to hand if you have to leave your home. Oh my god, this is really good, I have to say. This is basically a bug-out bag. Seeking shelter. Here they are saying, if possible, stay in the basement, but not every building has a basement anymore. In the event of a flooding, you should go upstairs. Protection from explosions. Wow, this is going beyond normal prepping. This is actually prepping people for, you know, drones, rockets and everything, bombs. I mean, this is really severe stuff here. The rule of 2 walls. Make sure that there are 2 walls between you and outdoor spaces. If the first wall is damaged by an explosion, the second wall can protect you from penetrating splinters and debris. Wow, okay. So here you got a checklist of what people need to have. I think this is very good. This is a really good checklist. So yeah, if you want to read through this booklet, I will put the link to this in the description as well. So crazy stuff, guys. This is crazy. Yeah, I gotta say, all of this is really disturbing. Disturbing because beyond the normal prepping, it also tells you how to react when there are explosions. And this is something I've never seen with any, you know, booklet for prepping. So I don't know what Germany has planned, but it seems as if they want to really get involved with the war. And I think a lot of the young Germans, they are recognizing this, and now they are actually fleeing the country. They are especially going to Austria and Switzerland, which are both neutral countries. And actually I think that's really smart, so I would actually do the same if I was a young German. So yeah, every German is welcome here in Austria, so think about this if you're a young German. pretty, wow, I have to say I'm really concerned. This is really concerning. What else is going on in Europe? Today we have a long news video. Also, of course, the preparation for the war is costing a lot of money, and therefore taxes are getting increased by the day in Germany, Austria, and also in other countries inside of the European Union. So now in Germany they now want to introduce a sugar tax on drinks starting with 2027. Products containing sweeteners as well as oat and soy milk will also be affected. Critics warn of a double burden for consumers. Also, the next news is this one here. I have to zoom in a little bit so you can see better. So this article is about taxes on electric cars. And in the past few years, you would have to pay less taxes if you are a company and if you purchase electric cars. But now that's going to stop. So here they are saying employees will face additional costs of up to 300 euros per month. When starting in 2027, a taxable benefit will be levied on company vehicles. So now you don't get tax benefits anymore. And actually, 2/3 of all the new electric cars are company cars, because private people, most of them don't want to own an electric car. So it only made sense with the tax benefits for companies. Also, because of the extreme heat and drought that we have experienced in Europe, a lot of foods are now becoming much more expensive, especially fish, because a lot of fish have died in the rivers where there was no water anymore. The extreme heat and persistent drought are taking their toll. Experts are alarmed, and popular food is becoming more expensive. The State Fishing Association reports daily rescue operations. Nevertheless, many animals have died in the waters. The exact extent of the damage with the fish population is still not known. So if you want to eat a fish from a beautiful Austrian river, it's going to cost you a lot of money. New inflation figures. Price bombshell. These items cost up to 81% more. Austria's inflation rate fell to 2.8% in July. However, prices for some products continue to skyrocket while others become cheaper. Fees, for example, for cards that you need for your healthcare service will increase by a whopping 81%. Diesel costs 19.3% more than a year ago. Premium gasoline 15% more. Parking fees increased by 22%. Parking permits by 11%. Strawberries are 34% more expensive, and that is within a year. Eggs cost 4.5% more. Schnitzel from the beef cost 9% more. Turkey breast 8% more. Also now, sexually transmitted diseases are on the rise in Europe. The number of syphilis cases has doubled, gonorrhea infections have even tripled, and HIV is also on the rise again. Furthermore, significantly less testing and treatments are being conducted. Is Europe now facing a full-blown pandemic of STDs? Also, Google is planning a data center in Austria, in Upper Austria, and you would never guess how much electricity this will need. So in Upper Austria, there are 670,000 households, and this one data center is going to need exactly the same amount of electricity as 670,000 households. It's insane. We have an energy crisis in Europe right now, where we don't have enough of natural gas, where we don't have enough of oil, where we don't have enough of electricity because Germany was so stupid to turn off their nuclear power plants, and they are turning off coal plants, and they are turning off other power plants, and this makes the electricity price rise. But now, in this crisis, they are building data centers, and for this they have electricity, okay? For this they have the money, and this is going to increase the electricity price even more. Actually, it is well known that we do not have enough of electricity for those data centers, and there might be shortages of electricity. So now they have made new regulations in Europe, especially Germany, Austria, and they are saying that if there's not enough of electricity, the AI data centers will keep going, but they will turn off the electricity for households. So data center is number one, and number two is you, the citizen. Awesome, really awesome. So if you got rolling blackouts, we sit here in the dark, maybe cannot heat our homes, we cannot cook, we don't have any lighting, but at least the data center has some electricity. Still, although we don't have a lot of electricity and the economy is standing on its last feet, they have nothing better to do than to aiming to become climate neutral by 2040 with the new climate law. So I personally cannot wrap around my head around this idea why politicians still try to pursue this topic, although the economy is suffering this much. Also here they are saying that a lot of consumers in Germany are fearing the next winter when it comes to natural gas. Natural gas customers are really worried, and rightfully so, because actually the gas storages are really low in Germany. Meanwhile, the rich people are digging their own bunkers in Switzerland. In the Swiss Alps, machines are mining and drilling. Vaults are being built for the wealthy, where they will be able to store their possessions. Expensive vaults are being constructed for the super rich, where gold, money, art and even luxury cars will soon be safe. Well, at least the luxury cars are safe, right? Because they are more important than the citizen. The Swiss mountains are being transformed into a fortress for the private assets of the world's wealthiest. The operators promise maximum security within the Brünig Massive, absolute discretion and protection against virtually every conceivable threat. These vaults will be located more than 100 meters deep inside the mountain. Also, shocking figures about Germany. Germany is becoming impoverished and dumbed down. Now, while Germany is debating to raise the retirement age again to 63, the group of 20 to 24-year-olds without a qualification or job remains completely under the radar of this discussion. Studies are showing that the productivity of German economy is barely growing. Productivity would need to grow 5 times faster to maintain prosperity. If this continues, prosperity will erode unless Germany implements reforms like those in 5 other countries. If this continues, prosperity will erode in Germany, and this is what's happening in real time. Yeah. So this is the news for the day. Really shocking. And I don't know what to say anymore. It's like getting worse every week now. Thank you for watching, guys, and stay tuned till next time.